I just also like being the bridge between things like that to like show people that it is possible to do it this way if you want to. If you're into that music, if you're into alternative music, ambient shit, and you're into hip hop, you can do both. Like it's possible. There's no rules to this, like at all.
Microphone check, 1, 2, what is this? It's the 5'7" assassin in the podcast business. I am your host, Rohan Patra, the rap music plug at your service.
Here we are again at the end of a rainbow.
Today's guest is one of rap's youngest rising stars, Atlanta native FearDorian. He's quickly established himself as a true innovator, bridging the gap between Atlanta trap, cloud rap, with styles of music that you wouldn't typically associate with hip-hop, like indie pop, alternative music, that are all brought into fresh new light through Dorian's eclectic sample choices. It all comes together into this gumbo of groovy, melodically catchy, moody, ethereal rap that is so one of one. It's a whole lot of fun, and at just 19 years old, the sky's the limit. So in this conversation, Dorian's youthful exuberance and creative mind is on full display as we dive into what inspired his fresh sound and sampling approach, the unique Atlanta music scene, working with POLO PERKS and ayooLii on A Dog's Chance from 2024, and how he and Quinn created their impressive new collaborative album, Before You Press Play. So listen on to learn more about one of rap's just absolute whiz kids, really breathing new life into rap that is so damn exciting. He really is the future. The Rap Music Plug podcast presented by QLC TV is the remedy to the I don't have anything good to listen to problem. Through in-depth artist interviews, album reviews, and general rap commentary on the best that the underground rap scene has to offer, this is your one-stop shop to knowing what to add to your queue, play next, or pop into your record player. Welcome to the show. FearDorian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's been a slow day. My damn dryer broke. So this is like really random. I'm gonna probably go on a lot of random tidbits, but like recently my like dryer has been like fucking up. And like I was talking to my girlfriend about it through text, and I've realized, like, you know when you go on a website and you're like, can we collect cookies? I feel like your phone does that like without asking, because like after we had the conversation about my dryer, she sends me this reel of someone like opening the back of their dryer, and it's like hella socks in the bottom of it, which was the same thing with mine. Like I was telling her about it, and I was like, what is the coincidence? Like this shit is crazy that like
You had a bunch of socks in your dryer, like clogging it up?
so there's a in my dryer, right? There's like the back part that's like circular.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a space in between that. I guess the tub. And that little space, it's easy for like socks to just fall in that little space. So I don't know if that's the reason why like my dryer like broke, but I went in and I grabbed like hella socks that I was like missing. I didn't realize that had been happening. I don't know how long it's been happening, but I think like the belt on it is broken.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, I was kind of like troubleshooting that earlier. I haven't really done much other than that today. It's been a chill day.
I mean, that sounds like a mission, but, you know.
It is a mission. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do, but we're going to figure it out.
You will
We're
figure
gonna
it out.
We shall.
But otherwise, you know, happy to have you on. You know, like over the past few years, you've really garnered like a pretty tremendous buzz, been prolific with your releases. And I think you've just given us some really creative, and I think you've just given us some
I
really
appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
a buzz so big. You posted today, you have people in Japan impersonating you. That's crazy.
Dog.
The audacity of someone being like, "Yo, man, you like that song? Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah,
Yo,
I'm
like,
glad that resonated with you."
yeah, bro. They're like, I like that song too. Bro, this shit is crazy because, like, I would have just never expected, like, people. I feel like I'm not even close to a level for people to be doing that to me. Like, why? There was one time I was out of town, and a friend of mine texted me because it was a Quinn show that we had in town, but I wasn't there. But I'd assume people just think they're gonna see me there because me and Quinn are usually like always together. And my friend like mentioned something about the show, and I was like, oh yeah, I wasn't there. Like I was out of town. I was just doing something. She was like, what? She was like, I was literally with you like the whole night. And I was like, no, you weren't. Like that was like I can show you where I am right now. Like I'm not home. Like I wasn't there. there's this dude that was telling people that he was me. He was just going along
That's
with it because he looked like
so.
me.
Is it? Wait, is this in Atlanta?
This is in Atlanta. This is a separate occasion from the Japan shit that I posted.
That's crazy to do that in Atlanta. Like
For context, for anyone that didn't see my story, there's some dude in Japan that was just saying that he was me after someone like asked him. So this is like it's just multiple occurrences where this keeps happening. I'm just like, dude, like, why?
that's
It's just unnecessary as fuck.
that is really weird. But I guess.
Especially it's like in this situation where it's like I don't want them to be like doing some weird shit and saying that they're me.
Oh yeah, true. It could be like, yeah,
Like
man,
you
you were
never
kind of
know,
fucked up
especially
in the
like if
club. Like you were talking, like you were being a little
that's what
weird.
I'm
Like
saying. Like you go like what if you did some weird shit and you telling a shorty you me?
yeah,
Like, no, 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 no. That shit could go south so quick. That's why I'm like, bro, don't tell people you are me. You are not me. You can say you're my cousin or something. You can say we're related. But saying that you're straight up me is just like, nah, that's a flag on the
yeah,
play.
for sure, for
Crazy.
sure. But yeah, man, your music has really brought me down some like very fruitful rabbit holes in recent time. Like I feel
I
like
love to hear it. I love to hear it.
you've been a catalyst for me to broaden my horizons to like a lot of what's going on and bubbling in Atlanta and Milwaukee. Just psyched to learn more about what you do. And given that you're 19 at this moment, right?
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
I'll be 20 in June. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So you're a really young dude, and I actually think you're probably the youngest person that's been on the show. Like,
Damn, that's crazy.
if you're familiar with Geis Guvara, he
I am. I am. Shout out to bro.
I think is like 20, 21. I think I think he's a little older than you. So like I think you're now the youngest, and
Damn.
I'm curious to know about your musical tastes and how they were formed, given the fact that like unlike older artists, a lot of what must have informed what you like and your tastes are based on like internet subcultures and like
Yeah.
all of those kind of SoundCloud and things like that. So like who are some of those kind of foundational artists for you that shaped your love for music and like your perspective as an artist?
Definitely like old, like young lean. I have a
Mm,
sister that's 9 years older than me. So right around like her teenage years, it was like the Tumblr era of music.
yeah.
So it's like people like Lean, early Childish Gambino. This is like early Nicki Minaj, like Pink Print era. It's like I guess house shit like Disclosure, Hiatus Coyote, people like Kenny Rebel too. Yeah, people like that. Honestly, like my sister was really tapped into that because that was like the music of her. I'd say her time where she was on the internet herself, and I would
Mm,
kind of just look at what she was listening to. I would like borrow her phone maybe, or she'd show me a song, or in the car, or whatever. So hearing things like that, especially Lean specifically, like hearing like Ginseng Strip when it dropped, I was like, this shit is crazy. Like I've never heard anything like this. And she had a Kindle, like the tablet that's like really supposed to be for like books and shit.
mm-hmm.
She had a Kindle, and it basically like ended up being mine. And like aside from having like games on it and shit like Temple Run and like Fruit Ninja and shit, I downloaded SoundCloud. SoundCloud was on there, so I was just doing my own like deep diving on stuff like early Cardi, early Yachty. We were really into 21 Savage because this was like what's the tape with the knife on it? And it's like hella red.
It's the first Metro one,
That
Savage Mode one,
that
right?
shit is crazy.
Yeah.
Very influential for the time that I found it. So it's just like a combination of a lot of stuff around that era.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And like, I find it pretty interesting too. Like, you have a very strong affinity when it comes to like getting into your sound more, this sampling of
Hmm.
types of samples that aren't typically, at least traditionally, used in hip hop, like
Right,
that are sampled in hip hop. Like a lot of times, R&B, soul, jazz are like the trifecta that are like
right.
most common, right? Soul. But like you have a lot of indie pop, alternative music, ambient. Like it's really fascinating, and I feel like it actually it's funny you say this about your sister because that era of like early 2010s shows up in your music, or maybe it doesn't, but it just
Hmm.
I because I'm 30, so I'm 2 years
Yeah,
older
yeah,
than your sister,
right.
so like I also like definitely relate to being like in
It
high
was definitely
school.
that era, like for you as well. Like you were
Yeah,
cognizant
yeah.
enough to like realize the music that was there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like you tend to play with a lot of those sounds, and it makes for such fresh music that like I just would not imagine working on paper
Mm.
necessarily. Like, why do you feel those sounds of like indie alternative music? Uh, lend themselves so well to being integrated into your kind of like Atlanta flavored trap cloud rap sound?
Honestly, like I feel like when people think of what's for a couple reasons. I feel like when people think of Atlanta music, they kind of think of this one sound, right? We got the Lil Babies, we got the Gunnas, we got the Cardis, and heavy on the Cardi because the Cardi sound is very influential in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, one, I don't have an accent, so people like don't really know that I'm from Atlanta. Um, and I just didn't really want to make this one box of Atlanta music that people are like know in their mind or think of in their mind that comes to their head first. And it's like it's also just like nostalgic to me. Like the music that like I came upon, I always like want to find a way to incorporate that into like hip hop. You know what I mean? Also, it's like it is unorthodox, and that's the reason why I fuck with like building it into something new. What was I gonna say? My train of thought like leaves and comes back so like
It's all good. No,
frequently.
you're saying it's like it's nostalgic, it's unorthodox,
It's
that like kind
unorthodox,
of
and it's like, oh, this is what I was gonna say. I just also like being the bridge between things like that to like show people that it is possible to do it this way if you want to, if you're into that music, if you're into alternative music, ambient shit, and you're into hip-hop, you can do both. Like it's possible. There's no rules to this, like at all.
yeah, no, I definitely like that. Like I was playing Rainbow while my girlfriend was cooking like the other day,
Hmm.
and she was just like, "Oh yeah, oh you like this song, the original she was talking
Yeah.
about, or like the sample source or whatever?" And I was like, "I don't even know that song."
Right.
And she's like, "Oh yeah, that song's so popular, don't you know?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." But again, it does feel like nostalgic. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of times where something feels nostalgic, but I don't actually have to even have heard the song. It just kind of feels like an era.
Kind of. It's also kind of like deja vu. Like it feels like you've
Yes,
seen or heard it before, but it's like in a new variation.
that actually is a great way of putting
Like
it.
it feels like reminiscent of something you've heard before. And to me, a lot of the music that I sampled is like nostalgic of what I've came up on and like probably heard like back in the day without even realizing it.
Yeah, and I do think the way you're saying that makes sense about how like it is cool and it's fun when, I mean, that's why sampling such a just a sick fucking creative way of making music, because it connects your like you're mixing so many different emotions,
Yeah.
eras. Like if like the rapper's talking about something, okay, you're gonna like listen to that, and like, oh, they're telling a story or they're like talking about some thing they're doing, okay, cool. And but then the samples like giving you some vibe of like the 1980s, some like gritty era, and then you're thinking about that. I love that
Completely
mix.
different. Two stories going on, but it's meshed together on one thing. It's like it's just fun to do. Like it's super fun to do. It's literally like it's like a cartoon. What's the things they used to do in cartoons where it's like one cartoon would go to the other cartoon and they would be drawn in their style. Um,
Oh, like kind of like crossover type thing,
Yeah, like a
like Family
crossover.
Guy would
It's
do
just
that.
crossovers like that. It's like,
Yeah.
how are they in this show when they're in a completely different universe? But it's really just like world building, like with music.
Yeah, no, I love that. And speaking of kind of like the Atlanta sound and like what you were trying to carve out your own lane in it, I just do find it generally pretty interesting that like the scene is in a really cool place where,
Hmm.
obviously for like over a decade now, like it's been probably like the primary epicenter of like most of the biggest trends in mainstream hip hop, like Thug, Gunna, Cardi,
Yeah,
Migos, But then it also has this growing offshoot of it kind of still playing with similar elements that are like very popular, but has
yeah,
these like weird left field turns like Plug and some of the stuff you're
yeah.
doing. And but then there's also this kind of grit, and yeah, there's kind of grit to the scene that I find interesting. Like,
Hmm.
what makes Atlanta music scene right now like so unique in your
I
mind?
feel like there's a lot of undiscovered things, and I feel like it makes it so interesting because there's a lot of people that people don't know about that are making such left field shit for the same reason that I'm kind of doing it, where it's like people are so used to this one singular or these two singular sounds being Atlanta, and like people yearn for something more after a certain point. Like you kind of like get used to seeing the same thing, and it's been done in like cycles. I feel like, of course, people like off records which sprouted off into Cardi. That people don't even. A lot of people like the vast majority of people, I would say, don't even know about like how legendary Alpha Records was. But like that group of people were like yearning for something different in the Atlanta sound,
Mm-hmm.
and like groups like that, and like people like duos like Danger Incorporated, people like that. These people know each other. Like that's what also makes it like crazy. It's like a web in Atlanta. If you meet someone, those people probably know three people that you may or may not know, and then if you meet them, you know like 10 other people by proxy. It's just like interesting how the web works of music in here.
Speaking of the way you particularly approach your sound, like I just find it interesting how you're pulling from those foundational elements of the Atlanta scene, but then you're pulling from other places like Milwaukee
Hmm.
with that like low end, the claps, the tempo, the high tempo kind of sound. It feels like equals parts trippy, melodically catchy,
Hmm.
groovy, danceable, also moody. And you have that, speaking of the samples, you have that really tongue-in-cheek Maz G skit on A Dog's Chance where he's like, all you do is just rip off other
Yeah.
people's samples for your beats. And it's funny, but like on a real note, like how do you balance and I think this kind of goes back to the fact of where you're pulling from in some of these
Hmm.
songs where people don't necessarily like again, I know that was a joke, but people wouldn't even think of saying that if you were pulling from like some jazz sample or some
Yeah.
soul sample where people just like, oh, that's just what people sample.
Yeah.
I think because of where you're pulling from, people now think it's like they treat it like a remix or like they treat it like
Yeah.
it's not like the same level of like creativity almost I find. And I definitely disagree with that. But like how do you balance pulling from these potentially recognizable sources that are more contemporary while still making the final product feel like your own unique thing?
Honestly, it's like I guess a good example would be like a great example of that. Going back to the thing where you're saying like people don't really see it as how would you describe it? Not I It's important that the right word like sampling it just goes into the conversation of like people looking at rap as kind of a lesser art form
Yes.
compared to other music. And
Hmm.
when I sample things that aren't isn't like I guess usual for rap music, I'm like still trying to show like this bridge is possible. It's just as important. You know what I mean? And it's like this also goes to this is like a tidbit, but like it also goes into people like making different genres of music when they started off as a rapper and they're like, oh, I'm an artist now.
Oh yeah, the classic. I'm not a rapper, I'm an artist.
Where it's just like it doesn't even have to be that. This is all. It could still be rap. You could be. It's okay to be a rapper. I guess I am like kind of just going off of the question, but I kind of just try to sample like unorthodox things like that to show like this is still as important. Like it doesn't matter what form it's in. It's still rap. It's still important. You know what I mean?
No, I do like the connections you're making though, because like I do think that the kind of implication of people even thinking that is goes back to that like
Yeah.
rap being like a
It's
lesser
the evil
art form.
stigma. Like
Yes,
it's
it is.
evil. It's anti-black as fuck.
I mean, it definitely is. And you're saying it's okay to be a rapper. It's kind of funny that that my mind thought about this, which I just goes to show how
Yeah.
dark the world is sometimes. But I was thinking of that very annoying trope that like white supremacists say nowadays, especially like JD Vance says
Mm-hmm.
it. You don't have to apologize for being white. It's okay to be
Right.
white. It but like on a real note, it's okay for people to be a rapper. Like it's okay to be a
It's
rapper.
okay.
It's
It's okay to
honorable.
make rap music. It's okay to be a rapper. You don't have to make a song with guitars and then be like, man, I'm an artist, bro. I'm not a rapper. Like, you could do both, bro. It's okay. Like, you don't have to, like, especially when kids hear shit like this, like, it's just like a growing stigma that is just bad. Like, it's bad. Or people just being like, I'm sure you've probably seen posts like this before. And it's usually from white people. I will say it's usually from white people. And they're like, when you find out all they listen to is rap music and then it's like a negative image or something. And it's like no one ever says this about any other genre.
Absolutely.
Like it's just rap music. No one ever says, "Oh, when you find out all they listen to is alternative music." That's never a thing. It's only with rap.
Absolutely.
And it's like y- that's a stigma that we got to break as rappers if you give a fuck about the art. And even with producers can help. Like that's a big reason why I sample the shit I do, because I'm like, this is possible. This is okay for it to be this way. It's okay to be a rapper. It's okay to sample these type of bands or like ambient artists or this electronic artist. Like you could do it all.
I treat what you're doing and that kind of like creative ethos or whatever. It's
Hmm.
very much in the lineage of like what rappers had to kind of break down barriers when it comes to singing, when it comes to like quote
Yeah.
unquote, even though it was again, was a misnomer, but like artists that were really leading with their emotions and being like vulnerable was seen as like, oh, what, that's not rap. But like nowadays it is much less of like a talking point because it's just so popular now. Like people do
Yeah.
that, but it's the same idea. That was seen as
Mhm.
that's not really what rap is. Like they just talk about guns or whatever, you know. So like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I had like an experience where it was like I was on tour last year with this British band called Squid, and like I would perform in front of this like mostly white crowd that are like they're either older or they're like kind of like super technical music fans, right? And they would hear my set and just stone faced for like the whole set. But I would like go on the Reddit after to see what they're saying because I shouldn't do it. It's a bad habit, but I am curious to see how people. I like to see how other crowds of fans, digest the music and what they take away from it. There was one comment where it was like all this dude rapped about basically was like shooting people, having sex, going to the club, cursing, doing drugs, whatever, and I'm just like none of my music is about that,
yeah.
right? None of my music is about that. If people listen to my music, they would know. My first album, FearDorian, is completely clean. Like I didn't curse once in
Wait,
that
is that
album. The
true?
album
I
that's
never actually noticed that.
anyone can go check
Damn.
I didn't curse once
Wow.
in that album. That album is completely clean. So it's like one, this is a bold faced lie, and I have evidence. You can go just listen to my music. Two, it's just like the only reason why you're saying that is because this is what you associate rap music with, and that's why I'm like, this is a bigger problem at hand. This is a way huger problem.
Yeah, no, that's so ridiculous. Like it's so laughable and I mean again, like I do think people like you are taking the strides and putting in the legwork to hopefully, you know, just continue battling that kind of bullshit.
I always like when I like do songs like that, or I go on tour with bands or like people that don't make rap music. I'm always thinking in the back of my mind, like I'm doing this so that in the future, when like a kid like me wants to go on tour with a band or make a song with a band, like it'll be easier. Like these things will be done because there's people that never see it before and they digest it in a healthy way and they're like, oh shit, I didn't even realize that like I really even like rap music. This is sick. I didn't even realize this was possible. And then there's other people that's like, what the fuck is this? We're here for this band. Why is there a rapper opening or whatever? Where it's like there's always gonna be people like that. But I think, you know, doing the shows and doing the tours and doing the songs, like it'll make it easier as time goes on and more normal.
Yeah, I saw Bad Bad Not Good perform in Toronto at some point this year,
Hmm.
and they performed with Rock Marcy opening, and I
That's crazy.
and I and I'm forgetting now. There is a connection between them. Like he might actually have like a feature on a song because they've collabed with rappers, so and they've made like a
Yeah.
whole album with Ghostface. But like I think there was maybe some connection that's not that, but they had some connection. But going into it, I was just mad confused. I'm like, whatever. I like Bad Bad Not Good, and it's Rock Marcy. I love him,
Hmm.
so like, sure. It was at this like 2,000 person venue in Toronto in history. So, and it was mostly sold out, if not sold out. And I
Right.
was pleasantly surprised by like Marcy coming on at like 8:30, and there was just like a couple pockets I could tell in the closer to the front where they came for Rock Marcy and not the other way around. And we were just fucking every line. We're going
That's so fire.
crazy. But I would look around after and it was definitely people like not knowing who this guy is. But like I could see people being like, oh, that was kind of cool. That was interesting
That's
because
what it's
he's
all
an
about,
incredible
bro.
performer.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I was like,
Like
this is awesome. This is sick.
like exposing people to music that they didn't even know they would not have checked out unless this show happened. Like, it's amazing seeing people like open up their brain to things that, because that's how music should be. Like, if you enjoy music in general, if you actually enjoy music, then this wouldn't even be like hard to do. You know, mixed bills would be way more normalized. But people listen and love music, love with quotations, because this isn't real love, but like for the wrong reasons.
Oh yeah.
They do it because they're like, oh, let's look at the niche artists I listen to. Look at the cool band that I listen to. This makes me cool. And it's just like, no, you're doing it for an act, and you don't actually love the music. It's more for the aura of it all.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Mixed bills over time, like that. Yeah, because they honestly, it always blows me away when I hear people the way how rigid people's like tastes in music are, especially when like I know what they do supposedly like, and I'm like,
Hmm.
how are you not also like at least somewhat into something I may recommend or something that's like, oh
Also, it's like when people like, for example, Bad Bad Not Good. Do people think that Bad Bad Not Good doesn't like rock music?
yeah,
Like they asked him to open for a reason. You know what I mean? And it's like that should be a sign enough to be like, yo, let me listen to this set. Let me check this out. Like they're here for a reason, but like that doesn't even click in their brains
no,
like at all. Like the connect is just not there for them. It's just like, bro,
yeah, because there's
people like
levels to
that, like
this, yeah.
it's hard for them to budge because they're just stubborn, you know. And again, they're there for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, real music lovers love music, and it can primarily be one genre, sure, but like, I do find it weird if you truly only listen to one thing, and you truly, but
Right.
you're like a real head in like one thing. It's odd because I'm like, I feel like if you put that much effort and time, you're gonna love other things.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like you don't even. It's like trying new food.
Yeah.
You might find your new favorite food tomorrow. You just haven't tried it yet. Like, go try that shit.
Pardon the interruption, but if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe, like the video, and hit the bell as well. And if you're checking this out on podcast platforms, please follow the show, leave a rating, leave a review if possible. This will help the algorithm do its thing and get more people tapped in. Thank you so much. Now back to the show. And you know, speaking of like where you are at right now in your career, I understand that after graduating high school, you decide to lock in and, you know, put your eggs in the basket of like pursuing a music
Hmm.
career full time and all of that. And that's a big life decision to make. And so I'm curious to understand how that move has like sat with you like a year and a half or so removed from school. Like how has the experience been pursuing music full time, and like what gave you the confidence to bet on yourself and your like musical talent?
I'll be so real. Like the amount that I would just like consume and think about music in my daily life, I was like, you know what? I'm not really good at anything else. Like just this, that's like honestly the straight answer. Like I'm not really good at anything else. I feel like me and my siblings are like good at like pockets of things. My sister's really crafty. She's good with like drawing and like creating clothes and like sewing and stuff. And my other sister is a videographer. So we all have like little things that we're really good at. But I was like, I'm only interested in music all the time. I'm only good at doing music. I took like a film class for like 3 years in high school, and I got like certified in television production. But like after that, I was like, I'm not that interested in film. Like it was just kind of like a thing because in my school we had basically like it was called something, but basically you had to stay in one class for 3 years and follow it. Like it could be a language class, it could be like a business class, whatever. But I decided to do film because I was like, let's try it out, let's see. And it was good. It was a really great experience. But I came out of high school still being like, I don't want to do anything else. I just want to do this. And it's like kind of cringe, but like I just like didn't want to work a job either.
Hmm.
Like I just didn't want to. Like I wanted to be able to, because my main thing was like, if I go to college or if I like go to work, I'm gonna be like, this is gonna occupy a good portion of my time, and I feel like I'm gonna lose the inspiration to like work on music. I just want to do this all the time,
Hmm.
and I'm honestly good. I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad I had like my family and my friends' support for doing it. Because I feel like if I didn't have the support that I did, I definitely would have been regretted it and like just done something else. Probably just worked a regular job, just quit it.
Yeah,
But I was really like, I'm center focused on this one thing. I'm not very good at anything else. I want to do it. I'm gonna do it.
I think that makes sense. And I do commend people because a lot of artists I've had on the show before and who I've just spoken to who
Hmm.
do balance like either full-time work and pursuing music
Yeah.
and or like school and pursuing music. And
Hmm.
I respect it because I understand it. Everybody's got to find their way to, make a living and
Yeah.
all that. But like I just imagine how hard it is cuz like especially working a job, particularly one that you maybe don't like, it's draining, it takes so much time and then you have to like be creative after all that
Yeah.
long
It's like
day. It's
coming home after working like a 12-hour shift. It's like, I don't want to fucking do this. I want to sleep.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, that would suck.
Yeah.
And that is like a lot of people's realities. And it just sucks because it's like so many people that want to follow a similar dream, they're taking out of it by having to work because that's just, the society we live
Yeah.
in. It's rough out here. This shit is real. Like, so it just sucks, honestly. It like makes me sad when I think about it a lot.
Yeah.
But I was like, I do have to like bet on myself in that way and just take the leap.
Was there any particular moment or like even song that you created or released where you remember thinking like the response to it either from others or yourself was like, "Oh wow. Nah, this music thing is not just like I really enjoy it. It could actually be special." Like was there any like particular light bulb moment that you can remember?
I think honestly, like after I dropped my first album and like the way it was received, I was so afraid. Like I was so scared when I was like going into dropping it because I was like, this producer thing is going good. I'm not really like making too much money from it, but it's like going well. But like I was like, this isn't going like extremely well at the time. And I thought about that, and then I thought about doing a whole nother thing with rapping, and I'm like, if this producer thing isn't going like extremely well, then I kind of doubt people are going to receive me doing vocals any much higher. But honestly, the way that people react to it and still react to this day, like, is actually insane. Like, it's people that, which this is not a good thing, but people think that's my best album I've ever made till this day.
Why is that not a good thing in your opinion?
Because I don't want my peak in people's eyes to be an album that I made when I was 17 years old.
Yeah, fair, fair.
It's like I got so much more sauce to learn. I have so much more sauce to learn. I have so much more life to live. And like that was just the beginning. This was just like kind of like a test run. I don't want that to be the peak. I'm so glad people love the album that much. But for it to be the peak, I don't really like.
I can understand that for sure, but like also I think like a important perspective shift is like that was a I guess now it's 2026 January 10th, but like that's a year and a half ago, right? Like
True, that's
yeah.
true. That's true.
It's like it's not like this was 6 years ago where like but I get your point. Your point is valid, but
Yeah.
like I don't think you have anything to worry about is my point cuz the other shits you dropped have been very
I'm
good
not
too.
necessarily like worried about it. I have dropped a lot since
Yeah,
then.
you've been
Cause
prolific as hell. That
I'm a dropper. I'm a dropper. So it's like, what are we like? Almost like 4 or 5 albums after, and they're like still like, yo, the self-titled though, like that's the peak, and it worries me a little bit because I'm like, all right, we're getting. I feel like this is pretty biased to come from me, but I feel like every album is like a level up
That's totally fair. I
in
can I
in
can see that
some
in
way,
some way. Yeah, exactly.
in some way, So it's like we've leveled up. We're like at the next like 4 or 5 levels.
Th-
And it's people like, yo, level one though,
but there's
that's
also
the
the
peak.
bias of anybody. It's a bias for some people, at least, where the first thing you really enjoy and love from an artist is like special to you as the listener.
Yeah.
To where like it's
Wait,
hard for people to like let oh wait the third album after that is actually better, but they just have that nostalgia.
yeah,
It's the
it's that's
nostalgia.
another thing where it's like it's very a very complex thing
Hmm.
on like on my level, like my perspective and their perspective. Cause it's like I have to understand where y'all are coming from. Cause it's like again, like you're saying, it's like it's kind of like watching a movie you love for the first time, right? And you're like, damn, I wish I could see that movie for the first time again.
Hmm.
But it's just them listening to the same album over again. They're like, damn, I wish like I could go back to listening to this first album again, or like I wish this album kind of like didn't stop in that way. Where it's like I feel you.
Hmm.
I wish I could watch Over the Hedge for the first time again. So that shit's gas. You ever seen Over the
No, I
Hedge?
have not.
That shit is fire. It's like it's like one of my favorite like animated kids movies. It's fire. But I understand where they're coming from in that sense. It's also just like, let's say you're a chef. You make your first meal, bruh. You make your first meal, you present your first meal. They're like, yo, this is delicious. You own a 5-star restaurant now. We're way past the first meal. The same person comes to your establishment, they're like, yo, bro, that first meal though, it's not topping anything you got in this 5-star restaurant right now. It's coming from the cook, you're gonna be like, damn, like, I'm glad you liked it so much. But like, we in a 5-star restaurant now. We gotta move on. We gotta
Mm-hmm.
move on. But again, that's not up to me.
Yeah.
And on the same coin, there's people that think the last shit I dropped is my best shit. So it's like it doesn't really matter. Like,
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like even within a year and a half, there's like the new shit with Quinn and then Dog's Chance, I think, are two projects where I feel like a
yes.
lot of people, I mean, those got a lot of buzz and a lot of love. So I don't think
Hmm.
you're gonna be like in the Nas position where his fans are like whining about Nostradamus and you have to go like drop a still
Yeah.
Dorian.
That it just like I it's a lot of reassurance like as a artist that you have to give yourself because you will just see some shit like that and it's like, oh my god, that's scary. That's scary and I just don't want that to happen. And it's also reassuring where it's like, yo, you got mad time, bro. I gotta keep telling myself you got so much time to learn new things, make the craziest album of your life. I could make my craziest album when I'm 40 years old. I got so much time to go.
Absolutely. And
Especially because like I'm only like this year is gonna make like 2 years I've been rapping.
that's crazy.
So it's like there's so much it's gonna get way crazier. So I just have to it's like a reassurance in that way. It is just a little alarming when people are just like, yo, that's self-titled though, bro. That's self-titled. And I'm just like, yo, thanks for the love. I really do appreciate it. I was 17 though, and the music is way harder now. Tap into the new shit. Tap in. But it's okay though. I again, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, but it matters to you, and I think like one of the kind of another related, semi-related element to kind of like how your mentality is, your perspective is that like I think you've heard this from other people, but really do think you're like in a trailblazing position, like you're having an influence that's
Mm,
actually having an impact in the genre as it continues to evolve. And I bring this up because you're still so young, yet I think, many would say that you're leaving a mark already on the genre. And I remember in an interview you did with the Fader, I think you also maybe mentioned this with Nobels about how like you've dealt with a lot of imposter syndrome. And so
yeah.
when that doubt hits for you, what part of your process do you lean on to like remind yourself that I belong, or like just how are you dealing with this sort of feeling when it does hit?
Honestly, it's still like a ongoing like thing. I think it's like literally like hearing you say that you feel that I am contributing to the genre in a like a positive way and like leaving a mark to it. Hearing things like that make it real again. You know what I mean for me. So first I want to say I appreciate you for saying that. Two, it's like I think have seeing things like that in real life in real time and people like actually saying it to you makes the thoughts for me kind of like go down because like for example me and Quinn had a show probably like a week ago or a week and a half ago, seeing people like repeat your words back to you on a song, it's like, oh damn, this shit is real. Like this actually means something to people. It meant so much that they remember what you're saying. Like it has that much weight to them and stuff like that. Like it really does help me deal with that because I'm like, oh damn, this shit is real. This shit is like actually worth something. Like I'm actually not working towards nothing because this actually does have like a impact in people's lives. But it's hard to think that when you're like looking at shit on the internet, and that's like something you just have to tell yourself. Like the internet is not real life.
Mm.
Like it's really not real life. These are all people just on a screen typing codes and shit. Like it's not real. But seeing like meeting people at your shows or whatever and them telling you like a story about how they found your music or how your music got them through this time in your life, it's like, damn, there's I look at people that I listen to like that. So like hearing someone say that to me, it's like, oh damn, like this shit is actually real.
Yeah, it's interesting how like the thing that contributes to you getting the imposter syndrome in the first place,
Hmm.
which is like the success, quote unquote, acclaim.
Yeah.
But then simultaneously, like hearing that reinforced later on actually quells it too. Like it actually reduces it because
Yeah.
you're like, oh yeah,
It's a
yeah, but
very
like, but
like,
I am that guy. Like I have done things that are
yeah,
of
that's
value.
why it's such a slippery slope, because it's like it's all like in the same pot
Yeah,
of like happenings, but it's like kind of just like having to navigate them.
yeah.
Like what is reality, what is fake, you know what I mean?
I think that's
And
exactly
that's
that.
the internet contribute I will say the internet definitely contributes to it in like a bad way, because it's like everything is just like kind of so hard to believe right now. We're in a very strange time in the internet specifically. Like this is like kind of not related, but like AI, if you would have showed us AI videos like 5 years ago, you'd have been like, what the fuck is this? Like, how is this even happening? How is this even a real thing?
Hmm.
So it's just like the whole sphere of the internet is just in a strange place. So seeing things on the internet, it's kind of hard to believe. It's kind of like doing like a double take at like everything, even if it is a positive thing. Because like, oh, are you just like, is this just like a troll? People love to troll.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like people love to troll. But seeing it again, just seeing it in real life, and like people coming out to shows, like taking the time out of their day, taking something simple as taking off of work to go to a show of mine is so important to me,
hmm,
because it's like there's levels to it. It's like you're taking off of work. You could, I don't know if you have time off, you could potentially get fired and put your well being at risk
hmm.
just to come listen to a song that I made in my bedroom. I'm like, damn, this shit is real. Like people are like driving, putting gas in their car, texting their friends, maybe even flying out of state to come to another state to see me perform. I'm like, damn, this shit is real. Like this actually means something.
I do think it's really important the distinguishing part of real life versus like the internet because even when I go to it's like not like super often, but it's happened like enough times now where
Hmm.
like occasionally I'll be at a show and someone will be like, "Oh, you're that guy who was the podcast." I'm like, "Yeah, that's it." And then they'd say something nice and I'm like, "Oh wow, that's I feel gassed. I feel great."
Exactly.
But then
You feel like the man.
but then it's like when I leave that area and when it's like a weeks later where I'm like releasing episodes, I think the part why the internet and like kind of how that impacts it negatively is because again, it's like hyperdrive numbers and quantifiable
Exactly.
and that's just that is very it's incongruent with like art. Like numbers and art
Yeah.
don't like those are never like they just it's because it's
But
commercialized.
it sucks because like
Yeah.
it also adds to the feeling because everything is becoming a number game.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why. And then I look at my numbers, or like some view episode didn't do as much as I wanted, and I'm like, I put like I thought I would like. Then you get like I thought I was the man, or I thought this was good. I thought I'm doing well.
I
Maybe I'm
thought I
not
was the
doing
man.
well.
Someone just told me I'm the man, but on the internet, it's not really reflecting that I'm the man. So
Yeah,
it's just like, okay, what's real? Am I actually the man? Because there's people that's telling me the man. There's people in my ear that might be on the internet that's also telling me I'm the man. And then some shit will happen on the internet where it's like, oh damn, I'm not who I thought I was. Even like vice versa.
hmm,
Like you may have a bad interaction with a crowd at a show, right? But on the internet, people are telling you they loved it or whatever. So it's like, what's real? Like what is real here? It puts you in like a weird space.
yeah. No, absolutely. So you dropped this latest record with Quinn. I want to get to that in a second, but before I do want to just quickly touch on A Dog's Chance because that's actually a record that I only like. I heard about it. I heard of it and listened to it when it dropped, but like I was telling you before, I feel like as of late, a lot of the music that you're related to, like Polo Perks music, I only recently like feel like they really clicked. And this album
Mm,
went from being like, oh, that's cool to being like, this shit is fucking insane. And,
far.
like you obviously produced it all, contributed rap verses to it with ayooLii and Polo Perks. I just feel like this project is amazing, and I love how you incorporate like that Milwaukee jerk sound to the production, and feel like your sample choices were really audacious,
Mm.
and it's just such a fun record. And so, like, tell me a bit about how you approached the sound working with Polo and ayooLii, and like what was that vision you were trying to get across on this record.
Well, me and Polo, like Me and Polo go kind of like way back because I don't know if you know, but I used to like make like dance videos when I was like a kid. That's like how I kind of started
Yeah, no, I
getting
was
into the
gonna
music
talk
scene.
about that actually later, but yeah, that's
That's a
yeah, yeah.
that's a whole other thing. But I met Polo during that time. That's like probably like 2019 ish. But I was not very good at beats, right? I wouldn't say I was very good at beats until like 2022 ish, where I like started like kind of like getting like more like started finding my way and making beats and stuff. And Polo was living in New York, but then he ended up moving to Atlanta where I was staying, and it was probably like my senior year of high school at this point. And like me and Polo would talk from time to time, but nothing really crazy, especially because he lived in New York. So there was like no way of like me popping on the damn L train and like trying to work with him. But conveniently, he moved very close to where I was living. He moved like 20 minutes, 15 minutes away from where I was living. So I was like, you should make some music. Like, we should work on something. And then we started working like time to time. I would get off of school. My mom would drive me to his crib. We'd work. And then I started like getting I found out about ayooLii through like kind of finding out about Certified Trapper. Xavier was also really tapped into Maz and Lee because Maz and Lee are brothers. And Xavier was like posting their music or like doing songs with them. I was like, oh, this is really cool. Whilst me like at the same time getting pretty heavy into like screamo. Like I was like finding screamo. I was like sampling that for a while. So it's like me kind of diving into two interests conveniently at the same time, whilst like I'm trying to make this style of beats. I'm also trying to send some beats to Lee, and I'm also trying to make music with Polo. He's already like dived into that genre, kind of with Pump Goes Drill, like the alternative
Mhm.
shit. So it kind of just like meshed very well. And then we started working together, all three of us. Our manager now G started managing all three of us, and it was just easy like workflow after that. Kind of just like, hey, this is an idea I have. This is a sample that Polo wants to do. We'll do it. We'll be in the crib outside the Polo's crib after school. We'll listen to emo music for fucking 6 hours, just diving down, going through different shit, going to different waves of like screamo and Midwest emo, and just like making beats and seeing what works and what doesn't work. Making a lot of like demos and shit like that.
That's really fucking cool. Yeah, like I just love the damn combination of sounds and how much fun it sounds like you guys are having. Like
Yeah,
it's so
it was
vibrant.
also just like such a silly and like fun time in my life because I'm like, damn, like this is super fire. Like I've been a fan of Polo since I was like 13, and then just the energy of like Milwaukee, the silliness, the freeness of Milwaukee music. It was just really fun to do and like experiment. Where I'm like, even I'm like laughing to myself. I'm like, this is so far. Like it shouldn't work, or at least in a lot of people's brains, or like it just hasn't really been done before. So it feels like it shouldn't work, but it's so fire that this is like working. And it's like both sounds that I love, like music that I love. So it's just super fun to like keep seeing it come into fruition.
Yeah, there's a whimsy to the
It's
album.
super whimsy. It's
It's
hella whimsy. Even like there's cuts on that album where it's not even like emo. It's just me sampling a video game. Like for Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys, I sampled this game called Amori, which is like a I've never played it before, but I'm like really into like game soundtracks. So
mm,
like I've like dived on the soundtrack and I've seen clips of it before as well. And even like Tony Snell. Tony Snell I sampled the uh the Scott Pilgrim video game. Cause I used to have an Xbox when I was a kid.
mm,
And Xbox lets you download hella demos. And the first stage on the Scott Pilgrim game, that was the only level I was able to go to because I had the
oh,
demo,
okay.
and that's the song that I ended up sampling. So it's like it's that also ties into like this nostalgia of it,
Mhm.
where it's like, oh shit, like I just made this crazy ass beat to a song that I'd heard so many times during my childhood, and now I'm like making music with it. Like it's super silly, super fun.
Yeah, it's like once A Dog's Chance really like clicked for me, it really reminded me of like the only other album that I feel or like artist I feel like that has tapped into that kind of like fun, silly, but also just fucking deadly creative and super fresh is are you familiar with like Tisa Korean?
Yes, that's a goat,
Yeah,
bro.
like
Tisa is one of the reasons why I started dancing. We
man,
can get
like
to that
yeah,
though.
and then
Yeah,
like
like
he's
he's the
just such
goat,
a and then all these fucking little clips he posts on Twitter are
bro.
so entertaining.
Bro, me and my roommates have like vocal stems of just like saying like old Tisa memes and shit, just
Mhm.
like shit that he would say like in videos and shit. He's really the goat. He's one of the pioneers. And I was seeing a tweet or like a TikTok that like was like expressing the same sentiment where they're like Tisa is like really influential. People don't really talk about like his influence enough because he made music really silly. He brought a lot of silliness back.
Mhm.
I feel like when Tisa like popped on the scene for real, like it was like kind of we were like kind of in a serious place. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't like there was not a lot of whimsy in rap. I feel, and that like he brought a lot of whimsy back, and I feel like it can kind of show in people like Uzi. Like when Uzi started working with
Mhm.
Tisa, I feel like his music got a lot sillier.
Mm.
I feel like before then, Uzi was like known for being like, oh, this guy is like a devil
Yeah,
worshiper. He's
yeah,
like
yeah.
goth, whatever. He made fucking EXO tour life.
Mhm.
Everyone like the mainstream kind of sees him as this, but like after he started working with Tisa, he made songs like fucking Futsal Shuffle that was huge, or like Just Wanna Rock, which is a dance song. No one like in the year 2026 is really associating Uzi still with like the devil worshiper shit.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, Uzi's like a silly guy. He makes like silly music. He also makes like crazy ass like hard shit.
Yeah,
But like before then, I feel like it was in a very different place.
for sure.
Which like is just one of the contributions I could like see from Tisa. I feel.
And we talked about your dance background earlier. I know like got
Hmm.
popularity when you were much younger, doing on like Triller, like doing dances,
Yeah.
getting some fame from that. Like I do wonder, like given like the kind of music you make, like do you feel your dance background has given you like a unique feel for rhythm and groove? Because I feel like music
For
is so
sure.
damn danceable and it has
For
that
sure.
particular swing that's sick.
It's like I'm making a lot of shit and like dancing to it in my room. Like groove is like it's a very complex thing, but it's like it shouldn't be taken serious. It's like look for new grooves. See where you can place this clap or this snare to create a new groove that you can dance to. It's kind of just like stripping away the rules, but still like finding like new grooves that like it's like finding a new flow. It's like damn, this flow is like crazy. I didn't even know I could really do this. Like it's like just fun to do, honestly. Yeah, I'm dancing to a lot of these beats and like songs I'm making in my room,
Yeah.
and I am just like thinking about people dancing to it like in my brain as I'm making it.
Yeah, cuz like there's a like getting out to like before you press play, like you know, but I don't know, I just find the whole album does has a really cool unique way that groove is maintained or like kind of
Hmm.
managed, because like it's not like a dog's chance where I feel like that's like a really like overtly high energy a lot of times, really fast
Yeah.
tempo. Before You Press Play definitely has a lot more like moodier type of songs, but still there's
Yeah.
like a swing to it. And I think like particularly working with Quinn, like I feel like your sounds just fit really nicely, your voices
Hmm.
specifically, like the way I feel like you kind of are. I mean, I don't know how to say, but you just kind of rap more like traditionally, or like you kind of hit this
Hmm.
kind of pocket, and then Quinn comes in, and it always feels like this like vocal ear candy that like complements you. It just like adds a
Yeah.
nice like push and pull to it. Like why do you feel you and Quinn had such a strong chemistry and like complemented each other stylistically?
Honestly, like you were saying, it's like we pull from different like flavors of pockets of like styles of rapping. And there's also moments like on the album where I feel like we pull on the same like end of the rope, like act like you know. I'm using Quinn's preset. I actually did something I've never done on a song that Quinn like does pretty frequently. I hope she's not mad at me for like leaking sauce, but this is not like necessarily like crazy sauce. But it's like she'll record a layer in one octave, and then she'll record the second layer like in a different like tone of voice, where it's like it like adds a layer of like it just makes it sound different. And
Mm-hmm.
I did that too for my verse. And I also use Audison, which I usually never do. And it's just like shit like that makes it really fun. But it's also like kind of the shit that me and Quinn have gone through together in our time knowing each other, and still like found a light through like all the bullshit. Still like having a good time together, like through the bullshit, being with each other through the bullshit. It like adds to the chemistry of like working on music together, because we're like we we had a lot of the same similar feelings as we're in the same situation together. So it's easy to display that together, like in the music.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are really comfortable together,
Hmm.
like, and there's like a trust that not only like musically to where clearly you trust each other's, styles and
Yeah,
like taste, but like trust as far as like taking risk and, like doing what you're
yeah.
saying, like doing something completely different.
No, it's really my best friend, man. Like, I'm so glad that like the album is like actually out, because like we probably started like working on it around like summer of, when could that have been? Probably like summer of 2024 ish. So it's just really cool to see it like out now and people like reacting to it the way they are. Yeah.
And how did that process look like in when it came to recording it, coming up with the ideas? Yeah, like how did that look like?
Honestly, there was like, I mentioned this a bit, but like there was like basically two versions of the project. There's a lot of songs that didn't go on there, but during the summer where like we're like, okay, this is gonna be a thing. Like this is going to be a project. I had just started moving. Quinn, I'm pretty sure Quinn had also like just moved out. So we're in the process of like handling that, and then like Quinn ended up setting up her studio area in her home. She got her home furnished. So we would go to Quinn's crib, we would record some, we'd make all the beats there. We'd probably make like two songs, watch TV, be smoking, eating, and then like Quinn would take me home because I don't drive. I'm learning to drive though, but like I don't drive. So Quinn would like take me home if it's getting like super late. She'll take me home. We would like try to repeat that like maybe like twice a week, and then we would just like do some. We'll like probably put it down for like a week or two, and just like do some completely other shit. Just live life. We might go out of town. I might go out of town. She might go out of town. We might just do something, and then we come back. But there was one particular time where we went to New York to like record some of the album, like an actual studio, like going, staying in a B&B, and then like booking a studio like every night to go back in and record more for the album.
Mm.
And honestly, a lot of those songs didn't particularly make it. A good amount of them did. I'd say honestly it's like kind of 50-50. Like 50% of the songs are like recorded like just at Quinn's crib, we're just chilling. Or like the solo songs that I've done, maybe they recorded in my room. Like World Pleaser, I recorded it at this desk.
Mm.
But Burnt Up, I recorded it at Quinn's crib. Rules, I recorded at Quinn's crib. I can know Rules, I actually recorded in the studio. So that's a perfect like trio of like kind of like how we bounced from making the songs and like what we were doing. So like one of my solo songs was recorded here. One of my solo songs I recorded at Quinn's crib. The other solo song that I did, I recorded like in the studio. So we're kind of just like shuffling through what versions of songs we want to do. Honestly, the album was gonna be a bit longer, and it was gonna have more like instrumental cuts. We were actually
Oh,
working on this
interesting.
like kind of like dance track that just didn't end up going on there. And there was a few more songs with like us together that just didn't make the final cut. But eventually, though, we may see them come out. I'm not sure. Me and Quinn talked about it already. We're probably not gonna make an album together for a long time, but we will probably be working like here and there on like I might slide to her crib, we might make a beat together or something like that.
Mm.
But making like a full album, I feel like we both have a lot more life and memories to make together before we like work on another project if we do.
Yeah, and I really do appreciate how what you're saying now, and kind of what I've read in some past,
Hmm.
past interview you and Quinn did about how much you like just took this collaboration and just take the act of collaborating
Hmm.
with someone on a project very seriously. And like
Yeah.
Quinn, she had this really interesting quote that I wanted to see if you could expand on because I found it really cool. She said that if I'm working with somebody, they also need to have a long-term vision of what they want the reception for the project to look like 5 years from now. So,
Yeah.
like, what was that long-term vision you two had in mind for like how you want this record to be perceived 5 years from now?
Honestly, like I feel like we both feel like we're in a very we talk about this so much. It's probably I probably sound like a fucking broken record. But like I guess I'm gonna speak for myself in this instance, but I'm sure she probably feels a very similar way. But the music that is primarily digested in the spirit of the underground that we're in is very I don't want to disrespect anyone's art, right? I don't want to do that. But I feel like people are kind of just trying to let's what's popping? How can I kind of incorporate my own sound into it? And let me put it out immediately because I know this is what the masses want, right? In this very moment, this is what's popping. This is what's gonna get me that fucking deal. This is the sound that people like to hear. And I'm thinking it's like I don't want to make something that will only be relevant to this period of time, to this sound. You feel me? I want to make something that's like timeless, where it's like my kids may be able to listen to this shit and like it'll still be fresh. It won't be like, oh, I remember when this sound was popular.
Mm,
Like this is a popular sound for the time. Because a lot of people are only thinking in this moment. Like, here's the sound that's popping. Here's the type of beats that's popping. Here's the type of vocals that's popping. Let's do this right now and let's go up. But just as fast as that happens, people forget about it. Like people's attention spans are getting increasingly more short by the new wave or genre of music. We've probably shifted from like three huge underground genres in the last year alone.
mm.
Like I'm peeping that Rage is like super huge right now, like super duper duper huge right now. But then like a couple months before that, Drake was super huge. Where it's like right now, like Drake isn't really, no one's really. I wouldn't say people are really like talking about that as much as it was just like a huge thing. You know what I mean? So people are just searching for like, yo, what's the next thing? What's the next genre? No one's really taking their time, you know?
Yeah, no, I do think that this record and like most of your music, but this one we'll talk about specifically, it really does feel like nothing else out. And it also like I just think the sound too, like I was saying earlier, the collection of sounds, it has this like sugary melodies, pop elements,
Hmm.
but then it just has that moodier ambient type textures that I find like it's really ethereal. I think that's how I describe the sound that you guys created on this. It just feels super ethereal and like spacey, atmospheric. It's like a musical kaleidoscope.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, bro. I just like want people to like really take their time. Where it's like, will I feel proud of this record in 5 years? You know what I mean? Like, will I feel like I took the time? Will I feel like I took care of this of making this album like a newborn out of the nursery? You know what I mean?
That's hard.
A lot of people make albums and it's just like, okay, that we did that. Like, let's disregard this now, though. Let's see what we can do next. Where it's like you didn't really take time for your baby. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's a really good way of putting it. So you mentioned that like you and Quinn are not likely going to release something anytime soon. You want to kind of live life and you know
Hmm.
see when that opportunity lies in the future. What other kind of musical work or tour dates, merch, or something that fans should be on the lookout for?
Right now, honestly, especially last year, a lot of things kind of just like happened. Like, it just popped up one day randomly. So I can't really say people should be expecting one or like specific things going on, but like I definitely want to be just as prolific. I will say definitely keep like looking out. I'm definitely like producing more for a lot of people. I'm like kind of in my producer bag again for real. I'm also just laying the foundation for whatever the next record is going to sound like. So I'll be working on that. I definitely want to get more clothes out this year, and definitely we gonna definitely try to get a couple tours this year for sure. because
If you want to go to
I've
Toronto, you
realized
should
over the course of time I'm really a tourer. I love touring.
come to Toronto,
So
man.
definitely,
Come to Toronto.
hopefully more of that for sure, for sure.
Gotta
I gotta
come.
pull up, yo. I'm gonna pull up. We
Please
gonna pull
pull
up.
up.
I'm not. I ain't gonna lie though. I'm gonna be completely real. Canada almost always has given me a bad time.
Really? Wait,
I've not
when
had
was the last like was as a performer or just like visiting randomly?
d- really a performer.
Okay.
They
When'd you
have not
come?
really given me a good time. I will say like the time before the last one I went to Toronto with Squid. That one was like okay. It was like okay because like the crowd was like a little iffy.
Mhm.
Because they just weren't used to hearing what they were hearing. But it was a sold out show at what was it, the Opera House, I think.
Okay.
So it's like, you know what, there's a lot of people here. I feel like there was actually two people that like I knew came for me and they were like super hyped. So things like that is always good to
What was
see.
the bill? What was the bill?
It was just me and Squid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I haven't really felt the love from my Canadian people yet.
Mm.
I need to I the first time I went to Canada was in like 2024. I went to Montreal. And French Canadian people are just different in general.
They
They're
are
just
different, man.
they
They are
are different.
different.
I truly had to experience that firsthand, but it was actually a me and Quinn show. Quinn got super sick.
Oh, damn.
And like the show was just like not good. Like, cause I was like, you know what? Quinn's sick, but hey, y'all got me. Like, I'm gonna just do a long ass set for y'all because Quinn is definitely sick.
Mhm.
And they were not fucking with me. They were like, what the fuck? Like, who is this guy? And but we gonna go back to Montreal though. There's been a lot of people that has told me to come back since then that I think probably just are like new fans of my music. So we gonna go back. I'm gonna give them a second
Yeah,
chance.
and give Toronto a second chance too.
I'm gonna give. Well, it would actually be Toronto's like. This would probably be Toronto's third
Okay.
chance.
3
Next
strikes
time
and
I
you're
come,
out. So,
third,
we'll
third.
make sure the third's the
Toronto,
right
we're
one.
gonna see. Vancouver, I have not been. So Vancouver, you got the opportunity to let me know what's up in there off first impression.
Fire.
But Toronto is on a thin a thin line. Montreal is on a thin ass line. 'Cause French Canadian people are strange.
Yeah, yeah.
They swear it's fucking France. Like, bro, that shit is crazy.
Yeah, and then they go to France, and then the actual French people there think they sound crazy, and then they discriminate them. They don't like French Canadians at all.
But they be riding for the
Yeah,
French
no,
though. That's what I'm saying. They really do. It's like they don't even fuck with you.
no, they want to
That
be
shit's
their own. I
crazy.
don't know how familiar you are, but they like almost seceded. Is that the word seceded from Canada, or like separated? Like
Really?
they got like people don't know this. It was within my lifetime. I think it was like early 2000s. There was the latest vote on it, and it almost passed by like a 0.5%, and it would have like
Yo,
if
they
that
was
happens,
almost
it
really their
ruins the
own
country,
separate
bro.
thing.
Like they have all the water, they have a lot of
Bro.
resources. It would actually cause so much problems for like
That's why they be moving like
yeah, yeah,
that.
they have some
'Cause they,
leverage.
'cause they like we almost had that type of motion.
Yeah, yeah.
We almost separated from y'all for real. They probably still salty about that. They like we wish we did.
Oh, they totally. It's
Nah,
a
they be
huge
bugging. They
thing. Yeah.
definitely, bro. I remember me and Quinn was on the street when we got there. I think like Quinn like spit like on the like in the grass or
Hmm.
something. Someone was passing us. And they're like, the Americans are here. They just kept
Jesus.
walking. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, where are we, bro? Like, y'all attached to our hip.
Yeah.
We right there. We down the road. Like New York is down the road, bro. Like this shit is not that far. But now I just realized like French Canadians are just very specific about who they fuck with.
Montreal is dope though. I really enjoy it, but like
That's
the
what breaks my heart about Canada in general because Canada is beautiful. Like actually being there was never the problem. It's just like the shows. Like the show experiences have been like iffy.
I've been to some because, like I told you, I used to live in Ottawa. Like Montreal is only an
Hmm.
hour and a half, 2 hour drive. So that was the place that I would actually go to because Ottawa wouldn't get too many shows. So we go to Montreal a lot. I usually had like very good experiences, but to be clear, I actually don't think I've even seen one hip hop show in Montreal. I think I saw like Julia Holter, which was like incredible. The crowd was great, but that's like, pop music, experimental pop. Yeah, I think I actually saw Bad Bad Not Good there. Speaking of them. I think
Bruh,
I saw
that's
them. That was
crazy.
cool, but yeah, I don't think I've seen any hip hop, so.
it's either for places like that, it's either when you go there, they're gonna show you so much love because they don't get that shit, or you're gonna go there and they're not gonna show any love, and they're like, because we don't like this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a reason why we don't throw these shows because we don't like it. It's literally either or. Well, Ottawa, I may pull up one day. We gonna see.
Yeah, yeah.
We got to change the. But in cities like that where it's like, it seems like there's no like really rap scene. That's where you got to really like be the change you want to see.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
you got to have some shit going.
Toronto's at least is doing pretty well, and like we've been getting some dope shows that have been like
Yeah, I feel like
really sick.
mostly when people think of Canada, like tour wise, they're definitely going to Toronto.
Yeah, we're the first
out
stop.
of everything.
We're the first stop.
Montreal, you get lucky too sometimes,
Mhm.
but a lot of people love going just to Toronto.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a great city. I've enjoyed my city.
It is beautiful though. I will say that about Canada. I've never had like a bad experience like visually wise. Like just being there is beautiful. It's nice. They got good food too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure.
But yeah, man, this was dope. I really appreciate you coming on. I think your sound is like the fucking future, and
Bro, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much.
seeing you get these opportunities and like get this kind of acclaim, working with like Quinn, working with like a POLO Perks, Richie T. We don't even think we mentioned, like, it's inspiring to see you have such an impact at such a young age. Like, it makes me want to fucking get up in the morning and be like, damn, I'm
Bro,
30. I
I
gotta do
appreciate you.
shit. I gotta do shit.
But this is something that I like always like to tell people, like, don't compare my shit to like the journey of like your career, because there's a lot of like kids my age that like DM me, and you're like, bro, you're my age, like what the fuck am I doing with my life?
Mm.
Where it's like everyone's journey is different, like it truly is different. But I really do appreciate it nonetheless. Like, I appreciate the opportunity to come out here and talk about a lot of things.
Yeah, no,
I've been tapped into the podcast for a while, so I appreciate it for sure.
that's awesome, and that's real love. Yeah, I
Of
really
course, bro.
appreciate
Anytime,
it.
bro. Anytime.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Rap Music Plug podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to not only support the show, but join the fastest growing community of like-minded indie rap fans, go to patreon.com, search for the Rap Music Plug podcast, and become a patron. You will gain access to an exclusive patron-only Discord that me and 70 plus people engage with on the regular, as well as other patron-only benefits such as exclusive access to the iconic RMPP listening parties, album recommendations, and much more. So if you have any questions about any of the Patreon stuff, or just want to keep tabs on the show, interact with me on rap music and all the great stuff that we can talk about, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at rapmusicplugpod, or shoot me an email at qlctv.podcast@gmail.com. You can also rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify as well. But that's enough self-promotion for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace.